Well, another day and another Brexit update. I know that you guys, like me, are sick and tired of this whole thing. It's been over 4 years now. It's still going on. It's still better to talk about this than the whole lockdown situation. I know I still make videos about that too because it's very important. But it's also important to make sure that everybody is informed, to know what's going on with the Brexit negotiations, the future of our country, and the lefty Romani globalists are trying to take over. We have to make sure because the mainstream media aren't really talking about this. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you two things. One, I'm going to give you the latest update on the Brexit trade talks because Michel Barnier has now come to London to beg Boris Johnson to resume the talks, which they've agreed now. And two, I'm going to give you the top 5 anti-Brexit myths and claims that have now been debunked. So let's start with that first because that's more fun. Number 1, the Irish border. You guys remember in 2016, during the campaign, they said, the Remainers, that under any circumstances, if there is some sort of hard border, or even a semi-hard border, between Northern Ireland and the Republic, there will be chaos. People will target the border, they will, cause trouble. Well, fun fact, the Republic of Ireland have put up a hard border between the Republic and the Northern Ireland since September. It's still going on in certain counties, especially in the northern counties. And obviously they use the lockdown as an excuse to do all these checks and everything. It's still going on, as you can see in the photo, from both sides. But it was the Republic of Ireland's idea to do it, not Northern Ireland, not the United Kingdom's government. Guess what? No troubles. There hasn't been any attacks from either side. But it has had negative impact on businesses and ordinary people, something that a no-deal hard Brexit wouldn't have actually done. This is a lot worse than what Remainers claimed what Brexit would do. So obviously the Irish Republic, the government moved 3 of their counties on the open border with Northern Ireland to level 4, high alert. They've created these obviously checkpoints to have the border to make sure that everybody is aware of who's coming in, who's going out. And the problem is that there are a number of businesses just by the borders from both sides who trade with each other. And these businesses, just like what's happening across the country in the UK and also in Ireland, who are facing problems because one of them is you have obviously a lot of there's one cafe, for example, coffee place, and also a number of restaurants, but also a lot of import and export companies from either side. There's this place that could now close because of the restrictions. The business is losing £2,000 a week as a result of these tight measures. This is the one thing. Remainers always talked about how a hard border will cause trouble for businesses. That was never on the table. Having checkpoints and having these restrictions are two different things. But the myth of the fact that they said any circumstances, any situation, if there's a hard border, there will be chaos. Nothing's happened since September. Second myth and claim. Manufacturers in Europe. Car manufacturers, especially in Germany. Remainers told us that if Brexit happens, if you vote to leave, and then when you actually officially leave the European Union, both of those have actually happened. They said that the car manufacturers across Europe, especially in Germany, will no longer need us. They will no longer trade with us because they have other customers across the world. Well, things have slightly changed because you have German car makers and other companies as well who are now begging Brussels and Michel Barnier's team to back down because they need the UK as one of their top customers and trading hubs. And it's embarrassing because the ACEA, obviously the association that represents companies like BMW, Fiat, Toyota, have warned Brussels about their hardline approach, that it was not in the long-term interests of the EU automotive industry. The car makers are desperate to maintain viable trading links with the UK once it has left the bloc. So that is one obvious point that we as Brexiteers, when we mentioned it, Remainers laughed at us. Now it's happening. Third myth. They said that firms across Europe will move from London. We no longer want to trade with London. More than 1,000 EU firms are now planning to open their London offices and also offices across the UK overall after the transition period, because they know that the UK is a hub for a number of sectors, especially finance and tech. Good luck with that, guys, because the Freedom of Information also has now shared the breakdown of these firms, the type of firms that will are applying for this. Includes more than 100 banks, which will either be setting up offices in London for the first time or boosting their current UK presence. Firms planning to move to the UK span all sectors in financial services, including asset managers, insurers, exchanges, and fintech firms. Good luck, Remainers. Next, I think it's the fourth myth that we have. Trade deals. They told us that the European Union have already signed trade deals on behalf of the EU 28 nations that they had, now 27 nations. They said if you want to maintain those trade deals, it will take you years and you have to do them separately. Well, we did do them separately, including South Korea, and we did manage to sign a continuously free trade agreement within months. Not 8 years, not 10 years like the way the European Union did, because everything was already in place. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just about the trade deals that the EU had already signed. They also said that the UK cannot sign independent new trade deals. We have obviously had, apart from obviously South Korea, that's been obviously a huge boost because the trade between these two countries are about £15 billion back in 2018, and it's been growing massively. You also had other news. Japan. The first major post-Brexit trade deal was signed with Japan. And there have also been a number of other countries, smaller countries in terms of in the developed world and developing world, but also a number of smaller arrangements and agreements with countries like Switzerland and others as well. But in terms of the trade deal with Japan, it's been interesting because the deal will see strong tariff reduction when it comes to UK pork and beef exports. So when protectionists talk about trade deals and, obviously global trade, and because they're against it, they always say that, in the interest of protecting our industries. Well, our industries also include companies that have products that want to obviously send it to other places. So import comes with export. They go hand in hand. It's not just that, you're going to have foreign companies coming in here. And it's in the interest of consumers and businesses at the same time, and we have to tell the truth about this. Now, it's not just Japan and South Korea. We're also now reaching a trade deal with New Zealand. It's the latest update. After Jacinda, who just won her election, the massive landslide. I'm not going to talk about her because obviously she's absolutely crazy with her socialist policies, but she does have one positive point about her. Well, two actually. One, she's very much in favour of the Commonwealth and the links to the UK. And two, she believes in free trade. So the trade deal is now, the negotiations are now ongoing. It's getting very close to actually sign this with New Zealand as well. And but also when it comes to Canada, that's another big country. Their trade deal and negotiations are now back on the table, being resumed. They should be finalised very soon. Obviously, it might take some time. Canada is a huge country and they have a lot of weird regulations, just like the US. But that's still going on as well. So this is all good news. Next myth. They told us the financial sector in the United Kingdom will be destroyed without the European Union because they won't give access. Fact, the European Union are now giving banks 18 months of access to UK clearing giants. So this is obviously set to give financial firms access to UK derivatives, but also to make sure that both sides essentially work together because they know that they need the UK financial sector, and obviously UK banks could work with the European Union countries to make sure that it goes until at least June in 2022, and then obviously they will come to an agreement. Remainers told us that the moment you vote to leave the European Union, and when you officially leave as a member, then that's it. This is the end of the world for you. That was a lie. Now I have a bonus as well. We got the 5 myths sorted. The 6th one, which is just a bonus, is the political side. They said, when you vote to leave the European Union, the EU don't need the UK. The UK need the EU. Well, only a few days ago, when Boris Johnson walked away from the trade talks, Michel Barnier was the one who decided to crawl back and beg to resume the talks. He's now obviously come to London today to resume and restart the talks, and he has finally compromised to talk about the legal text, but also talk about the whole fisheries and the red lines. Lord Frost tweeted that we have agreed that a basis for negotiations with the EU and Michel Barnier has been re-established. Intensive talks will happen every day and begin tomorrow afternoon, which is today. And this is brilliant news because now we are winning these negotiations. This is what Donald Trump did with China and a number of other countries when he negotiated. Because we're in a position now that will either help us achieve what we wanted, a Canada-style trade deal, or as we say, just a trade deal with no political alignment, or we'll leave on WTO terms, like Australia, which you can still have bilateral agreements on certain areas with the European Union. This is the whole situation, and Katya Adler, who's obviously the Europe editor of the BBC, has tried her best to be impartial this time, said that the format for the talks is that it will be obviously intensified. There will be initial phases where it will be obviously face-to-face until this weekend, and then they will obviously have talks in Brussels, but then the most of it will be on Zoom and video chat, which is fine because that's what they've been doing in the summer anyway. Now, I just wanted to make sure that you guys get all the facts, that the top 5 myths that have now been debunked that Remainians have given us, and also give you the latest update on the Brexit trade talks. Don't worry, we're still winning. I'm still hoping that Boris Johnson stays strong, Lord Frost as well. And thanks again for watching. I do want to give a massive shout out to my good friend Ollie Rogers, who's started his new YouTube channel, the Stereophony. Yeah, he does obviously songs. He's a musician, and so I was giving a massive shout out. I put his link to his channel in the description. If you guys could go watch his videos, subscribe, show some support, especially at this time because of during the lockdown, the music industry not doing too well. So Ollie needs all our support. He's very good. Again, just go watch his videos. If you like the songs, if you like his voice, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, show some support. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys in the next video.